Halo Infinite is almost here. Does PlayStation have the answer to Game Pass? And don't miss your chance to become an Xbox insider. Let's discuss. So Xbox has done some pretty interesting brand partnerships when it comes to promoting Halo Infinite. I've talked about it on the channel before, but I'm a big fan of the Rockstar partnership that they have going on right now, and that's Rockstar Energy Drinks, not Rockstar Games. I don't want to be sued by Rockstar Games. If you know, you know. Now, if you're not aware, they have special Halo cans, and with every can, they have a code that you can enter for some in-game rewards and daily entries to their giveaways and things like that. So far, I have unlocked a skin for my Warthog, a skin for my Assault Rifle, XP boosts, and lots of challenge swaps as well. And now, in that same vein, Chipotle is doing a partnership to promote Halo Infinite, where if you order online or through their app and use this code, you get 5 challenge swaps. Halo Infinite's been out for a couple weeks now, and I think we can agree that challenge swaps are probably the least exciting reward that you can get. And the phrasing that they use to promote this event on the Xbox website, they use this wording. They say, now, just like your burrito bowl, Halo players can customize their challenges. And I don't think that's the kind of customization that Halo players were wanting or looking for when it comes to Halo. I think they were looking more for, more options with the armor, more options with the colors, use whatever color on whatever armor piece, not, wow, I'm sure glad that I can customize my challenges thanks to Chipotle. Nice. At first, the challenges were kind of annoying in Halo Infinite. They were just stuff that I was never going to get around to doing unless I ignored the game mode entirely and just hunted the challenges. Now they've kind of made them a little bit more tame. Right now, I think my challenges are grapple an enemy Spartan, win a PvP stockpile match, kill an enemy Spartan with a heat wave, kill an enemy wasp. That's right. So, doable things that you could, encounter in the wild whenever you're playing PvP, but a little bit challenging, right? I don't even really find myself using the challenge swaps anymore. So if I got a bunch of them through Chipotle, I would be like, thanks, I guess. Maybe in the future I'll encounter a challenge that's a little too difficult for me or a little bit too annoying for me, and then I'll use it. But for right now, I don't really see the need to be using them. Now, if they were giving away XP boost, double XP boost as part of Chipotle, I'd be at Chipotle every day. But challenge swaps, I don't know. I mean, I'll probably still eat Chipotle, but I won't be going out seeking it for the Halo benefits. You know what I'm saying? As part of this, they're promoting their Chipotle Challenge Series, which is a Halo multiplayer tournament that's going on starting on December 10th. And the grand prize for this, it's a good chunk of change. It's $65,000. $65,000 for playing video games super well. Hey, and my mom said that video games will get you nowhere. Good chunk of change, but you have to participate in one of the qualifiers in order to advance and have the opportunity to get that grand prize. So starting on the 10th, and on the 11th and the 13th, they're having 3 qualifier matches. Anyone can sign up if you go to the website and register. And they're going to take the top 32 players from those 3 matches, and then those people will face off for that grand prize. And they're also going to be holding an event on December 15th that is basically a match featuring some top streamers to top it off. So that sounds pretty cool. I think I'll just watch, honestly, because, I'm a pretty good Halo player. I'm Plat 4, not as amazing as Diamond or Onyx, but not as bad as, Bronze, Silver, right? Still pretty good. I just, in my gut, know that if I signed up for this, I would just get clapped. I would get clapped. And I'm not afraid to admit that, right? I've played some Onyx players before, and they're insane. They don't make the game fun anymore. I'm just not competitive. It would be funny maybe if I went and I saw how far I could get, but I just know in my heart of hearts that it's just, this one's not for me, but I will be watching. I love competitive esports, and I'm glad that Halo has a very thriving and, kind of built-in scene already. And I'll be rooting for whoever wins the prize. Someone's going to be very, very happy by the time December 15th rolls around. If you haven't already, go on over to Twitter and follow @StayXboxReady. Also, keep an eye out for me on Twitch. I'm going to start streaming from this setup that you see behind me at Xbox Ready. Now, speaking of Halo, The reviews are in. People have had their hands on reviewer copies of Halo Infinite's campaign for a while now, and things are looking pretty good. All of the major publications reviewing Halo Infinite's campaign have come out as super, super positive, giving it 9 out of 10s, 10 out of 10s, 5 out of 5s, however metric you want to measure it. I take those reviews from the major publications like IGN, GameSpot, all the big ones with a grain of salt, right? I think it's easy for people when they put out a score for a game that they really like and they really agree with. It's, yes, that's amazing. We got a 10 out of 10 from IGN, blah, blah, blah. And then when they do a review that they don't agree with, or they trash a game, they don't score it as high as they thought it would, people are suddenly like, oh, it's the big publications, they're bought out, they're biased, blah, blah, blah. What seems to be the metric that people go by is the Metacritic score and the user reviews. For example, on Steam, if you see a game with mostly positive reviews, to me, that means, hey, this must be a pretty good game, because a lot of users like me are playing the game, they put the hours in the game, and then they left an honest review. Right now, Halo is sitting at an 87, I believe, on Metacritic. We hold Halo to this impossible standard, right? We want it to be like the good old days of the Xbox 360 or on the OG Xbox for Halo 2 at the beginning of, the online gaming craze. And we wanted to harp on all of those nostalgic feelings that we have for the franchise while also taking it into a new direction. It's just, I feel bad for the people who are working on it, because Halo, like I said, is set to a crazy, crazy high standard, and I have a good feeling about this campaign with the way people are talking about it. I am excited for it. I was a little worried about it at first because we hadn't heard anything about it until the technical preview. There had been a lot of multiplayer flights, but nothing about the single player, the campaign. And now it seems to be looking pretty dang good. For me, I just want to do crazy, wacky stuff on Zeta Halo. I've been seeing Mint Blitz on Twitter launching himself clear across the Halo ring with nothing but a gravity ramp and a ghost and like some exploding grapply thingies. I want to do wacky stuff like that too. But what I'm surprised is some people are saying that the story is really good. Jess Corden, for example, said that the score for Halo Infinite is really emotional and it heightens the emotional parts of the game to a whole new level. And I thought that was pretty interesting too. I can't wait to see what they do with the story, and I'm generally very, very excited about it. Now, Game Pass is arguably one of the best things Xbox has done in the past, 5, maybe even 10 years. Game Pass is something that I've ranted about multiple times. I love it. I've tried all sorts of new games I never would have tried had I not had it. It comes with some awesome perks, and of course it has all the day one exclusives like Forza and Halo on the service day one as well, and that's really cool. And for the longest time, people were looking to Sony as Xbox's direct competitor and wondering, are they going to do a service that's similar to Game Pass? They seem to have doubled down on not doing that, upping the prices of their first-party exclusive from $60 to $70, and the whole narrative seemed to be that Xbox was quantity over quality, and Sony was staying steadfast and just releasing its first-party titles as is, the old-school way of just direct-to-consumer. You buy it, you play it, that's it. But now the breaking news is that Sony is going to combine PlayStation Plus and PS Now, and they're going to combine it into now the code name is Spartacus, which is supposed to be a direct competitor to Xbox Game Pass. Now again, I just think it's funny, for the longest time people would criticize Xbox and Game Pass saying Game Pass is ruining the gaming industry. It doesn't leave any incentive for developers to make good games. They're just going quantity over quality. It's ruining the gaming industry. I prefer to own my games outright instead of renting them through some cheap service, blah, 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 trashing Xbox Game Pass. And now all of a sudden, Sony is making this Game Pass competitor, as every media outlet is calling it, and all of a sudden it's, wow, Sony is revolutionizing gaming once again. This is incredible. And it's just so funny to see. So apparently how this is going to work is that, like I said, they're going to combine PlayStation Plus with PlayStation Now. And if you're not familiar, PlayStation Plus is basically Xbox Live Gold, right? It gives you the ability to play games online. It throws in some extra perks, some free games. And PlayStation Now is more or less what you would compare with Game Pass, right? It's a cloud-based cloud-based streaming service for older PlayStation games, sort of, right? And they're going to combine those two into this new Spartacus subscription service. They have 3 tiers. So the first tier is basically just PlayStation Plus, like I said, play games online, you get maybe a free game or 2 a month. And then the next tier, they're apparently adding PS4 titles and eventually some PlayStation 5 titles. I don't know what those are going to be, if they're going to be the huge marquee, God of War Ragnarok, Forbidden West. And the third tier is going to be where you get the streaming services, so the cloud-based services like you would in Xbox with the xCloud. And also you'll have backwards compatible titles from PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PSP, and PS3 eras. Now, there are some key differences that jump out to me right off the bat. First glance at this, it just seems, I don't really know if it's a competitor for Game Pass. I know it's being billed like that by the media, but it seems to me more like PlayStation is rebranding PS Now. PS Now is a fine service, but it didn't get as many people as excited and it wasn't as popular as PlayStation Plus. So this is a great opportunity for them to rebrand and combine those two services. Now, the main draw for sure with this new Spartacus service is the backwards compatible stuff. But for anyone who has the original copies of their PlayStation 1 games, PlayStation 2, 3, and PSP, sorry, you're not going to be able to just plug those discs into your PlayStation 5. You're going to have this streaming service. So they're finally giving you backwards compatibility support, but you're going to have to pay a monthly fee for it. Whereas for Xbox, I could take a copy of Max Payne from the OG Xbox, stick it into this here Xbox Series X, and it will work. And it will also get all the free updates that they have rolling out for all of their backwards compatible titles. And that's another thing I find funny. And one of the other critiques of Game Pass was saying, Game Pass is nothing but old games. Why would I pay a monthly fee to just play a bunch of old games that I've already played? And this seems to be the Spartacus service, nothing but old games. And that's nothing to sneeze at, right? Because PlayStation has a very impressive collection of older titles. I owned a PlayStation 2 and a PlayStation 1 back in the day, and on those consoles alone, there are tons of games I would love to revisit. But I think it's funny that when Game Pass does it, it's a bunch of old games. Boo, it sucks. And then when PlayStation gives you a bunch of old games, it's, oh my god, this is amazing. And the biggest difference, and this is something that they've confirmed already, is that day one PlayStation exclusives are not going to be coming to the service no matter what tier you have. And that's a huge difference in terms of Xbox, because all of the big Xbox Studios games make their debut when they launch onto Game Pass that same day. They did it with Forza, they did it with Psychonauts, so they're going to do it with Halo up in a couple of days. And that's the big draw for me, because if I play 3 day one releases through Game Pass, my subscription, I get those day one exclusives plus so much more. And I've already pretty much paid for mine. I've played Forza, I've played Psychonauts day one, and I'm gonna play Halo Infinite day one. You better believe it. So those 3 games I've already paid for. I have Ultimate, so that's $180 a year roughly. That's already paid for my subscription. And that's not even including all of the other games I've played, like Subnautica Zero, Scarlet Nexus, Dodgeball Academia, The Ascent, all those other games that have more than paid for it, in addition to those new titles I'm playing day one. This is something I know people are going to be excited for, and for good reason, but to say that it's a Game Pass killer, Game Pass competitor, I'm not entirely convinced. I think the absence of day and date exclusives on the service really kind of limits how excited I could be for this, right? I would definitely be interested in picking it up, like I said, to play those older titles, but again, I think it's funny that after all these years of people begging for backwards compatibility, they finally give it to you, but they're gonna make you pay for it. Another thing I think is interesting is that on the highest tier of Spartacus, they are going to offer some form of cloud streaming for their games. And it's funny because back in 2019, Sony and Microsoft signed an agreement that they would basically work together using the Azure cloud technology to further cloud streaming and gaming, which Microsoft owns. Which means that anything that you do as far as streaming a game when it comes to Spartacus, it's going to be run on a server that Microsoft owns outright. And I mean, the irony, man, the irony, just can't write it. Can't make it up. Now, a couple days ago, Xbox has opened up invitations again for their Alpha Skip Ahead Insider program. Now, if you're not aware, there's an app on the Xbox that is called the Xbox Insiders Hub, and they have different tiers. So they have Alpha and Alpha Skip Ahead. They get to test out dashboard features and new software updates months before anyone else does. So when people were talking about the 4K dashboard and the colorblind filters, people had already been testing that for months before it actually rolled out to everyone else. And that's super exciting. So they're opening up invitations again. If you are interested in signing up, you do have to complete a survey. And if you do complete the survey and you show your interest, it doesn't guarantee that you are going to be picked to be an Alpha Skip Ahead Pro tier insider. But if you are interested, make sure you go over to download the Xbox Insiders Hub app. Open that up, go to activities, scroll down to join new rings, click that, and then you'll be able to complete the survey. Like I said, it's not guaranteed, but if you get picked, they're rolling it out to more people. They want more testers. Then that's really cool. Like I said, you'll be able to test features that won't be rolled out for a very long time sometimes. I know for a while I got to test the mute my speakers whenever I plug in my headphones, and that was really cool before it rolled out officially with this most recent update. Do be aware that if you do this, some of these, you know, they're being tested, they're still in kind of this beta mode. They might cause bugs in your other apps, in your games even, so don't come flaming me in the comments saying, I got picked to be an insider and it bricked my Xbox. I don't think anything as extreme as that has happened, but I just want to make you aware before you go and sign up. Anyway, guys, that's all the news I have for today. My name is Ray, and I'm asking you once again, if you haven't already, to go on over to Twitter and follow @StayXboxReady. Also, keep an eye out for me on Twitch. I'm going to start streaming from this setup that you see behind me at Xbox Ready. I'm going to link the Twitch down in the description. I'd greatly appreciate it if you came and follow me. I'm going to start streaming soon all the great Xbox titles, Sea of Thieves, Halo, Forza, and getting up to all sorts of shenanigans with my buddies. I'd love for you to stop by and hang out. Anyway, thanks so much, and we'll see you in the next video.